things been since last time I've seen you?
Not great. Staying in this mental asylum really took a toll on me.
And how'd you end up there?
I guess a lot of things. Things have never really been all that great since my brother Ali died. God damn it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Make you feel pretty bad, like the world, just passing by, everybody's just a phony out there, really, as I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
And your folks, what do they think about all this?
Well, my folks are the ones who put me here in the first place. This is terrible. I just sit around, doctors asking me questions, how does this make you feel? Just all a bunch of phonies. None of it makes sense.
Well, are you getting along with the other kids in the ward?
No, you wouldn't even believe it. Back at Percy Prep when I used to go there, get in fights all the time.
Any in particular?
Yeah. Stradlater. He was my roommate. Just he was gross. You wouldn't think it. Like, he's just one of those guys who's subtly gross. And this girl Jane Gallagher, who I used to really like, took her out on a date, and after that we got in a bit of a scuffle. And that was actually the night that I left Percy Prep and went to New York.
Sounds to me like you feel angry.
I feel very angry. I've been in here for a couple months. It's not suiting me all that well. Yeah.
Do you have any plans for leaving?
Any plans for leaving? I guess, when I'm out of here, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know when that'll be. God damn it, my parents just abandoned me here. That's all I can really say about my situation right now.
And your relationship with your parents, has it always been rocky?
I guess you can always say it. I guess I've always given them trouble. I was never like Allie or Phoebe. Good old Phoebe. I miss Phoebe.
How was high school?
High school is tough. People, they're all just a bunch of phonies. Just all a bunch of phonies. Just putting on fake masks and get out of bed in the morning. Thinking that they're gonna be somebody else, and they walk out the door and just putting on these fake faces. Just phonies.
And do you interact well with people when you meet them for the first time?
If I like them, I can be a very casual kind of guy. Dance with women in New York sometimes. I got a prostitute one time. She was horrible though. Her name was Sunny.
Really?
Yeah, she's beat.
And how was that experience for you?
Terrible. Her pimp punched me in the face.
Really? I got punched in the face.
Really?
By a pimp too.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell me that story, or is that client confidentiality?
Basically under the same circumstances, really. I can relate. But yeah, it got better for me, and I'm sure it won't happen again. But it's an experience you can tell your kids about.
I wonder, Doc, what do you think's going on in my mind?
Well, honestly, I think you're feeling a little down recently. Mm-hmm. I feel like situations have...
I would agree with that, but I just never know how to get in my mind. It's just all too goddamn confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at your age, people are very confused and frustrated. Mm-hmm. Me too. Well, I'm going to recommend some Lexapro for you. It's an antidepressant. I'm feeling like you're clinically depressed and your brain chemicals are off balance, maybe not enough serotonin, and it is situational that you're...
Now what's serotonin? That sounds like a phony chemical.
Well, that's a brain chemical, and it's not phony. You have that. I have it too. But yeah, it should help balance out the chemicals, and you'll feel much better. It'll take the edge off things.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about taking these kinds of mind-altering drugs. I'm kind of opposed to that. Like, ever since I got drunk that one time in New York, I feel like I got sort of cheated that night. Like, I don't know. I don't want to feel cheated. I don't want to feel like a phony if I take these drugs.
So what makes you feel like this phony?
I never feel like a phony. I just see a lot of phonies wherever I go.
Right.
I was just at the mall the other day. I saw a bunch of phonies there. More phonies as far as the eye can see.
Right. And what makes these people a phony?
Just what I said before. They just get up in the morning, put on that phony face, and just walk out, just like Stradlater and Ackley.
Right.
Yeah.
And this Ackley guy, who is he to you?
Ackley? Well, he lived in the room next to me over at Pensy Prep, and he was disgusting. Probably one of the grossest people I've ever met. Just pimples, smelled bad, he was fat, just everything. Just worst person to live next to. Just horrible, and just such a phony, and so mean, and just oppressive, just a terrible person, really. That's what I guess made him a phony.
And at boarding school, was your experience with the adults good?
No, they were even worse, I'd say. Just as oppressive as they get. They're just people who just don't have enough power, so they impose power upon the people who they think that they can oppress. That's just the students at Pensy Prep.
Oh,
And it really translates just into terrible effects on the students.
right. I can understand that, definitely. When I was at grad school, you see, I was the straggler, and you know, my fellow students wanted to be at the top, so they would kind of push me down. But no, I got back up and I fought my way. And I think that sounds like what you're trying to do.
You know, I tried to doc. I think I'm a pretty good writer, but I can never seem to do it. I always seem to end up at the bottom. What do you recommend for me?
Well, I recommend you take those pills I gave you. And
Think that'll really help, though?
Yes, it will.
Are there side effects?
There are. Well, would you like me to read them to you?
Yes, please.
Nausea, heartburn, and possible death.
Death. I don't know how I feel about that. Is it likely for me to die if I take these pills?
Well, it's impossible to say, but it could happen.
It's a lot of pressure, Doc.
I'd also recommend happy thoughts and maybe looking inside of yourself to find the answers you look for and reasons why people are so phony to
You
you.
mean like self-actualization?
Precisely.
Self-actualization. I read about that one time.
Yeah? What did you read?
Well, it was discovering oneself and doing it through artistic means. I don't know. I'm not much of an artist, I must say.
But do you appreciate art?
Yes, in moderation. Then there's all that phony art.
Right. And do you meet people who aren't phonies?
Yeah, there's a few of them out there. Jane Gallagher wasn't a phony.
And you said earlier about your little sister. Can you tell me more about her?
Phoebe, she's a nice girl. Just very sweet, very supportive. She's always there. You know, we've kind of gone through the same thing losing Allie.
And you feel like a father figure to her?
Not a father figure, but definitely a guardian. I mean, I guess that's why I'm so protective over when I see kids, because I know how easily duped they are, and I know how confusing it is to be a kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And does Allie connect to you?
Allie was a genius. She was really, really smart. A brilliant kid, you could say. But yeah, you know, I think about Allie every single day. Yeah.
It's definitely hard losing someone, but those pills will help.
Good. Glad to hear that. Well, is there anything else we should cover in this therapy session?
I think that's all we have time for.
Well, thank you, doctor. I feel much better.
See you next week.